The marriage just got worse and worse, and it was just tougher and tougher.
Fighting a lot.
Split custody, 1 week at my dad's or 1 week at my mom's.
I lose 3 jobs in a row. These demons would torment me night and day, emotionally controlled. I said, I'm done. I said, God, I'm done. I said, I'm tired. I said, what else do you want from me, God? Is it Jesus? I don't know anybody. I only know him. I hardly know him. He's an engineer, so he was just working for a company, and he's hinted too, yeah? And I was probably more devout than him at that point, yeah, for sure. My first daughter was born 4 years into the marriage. And then about a year and a half later, I had my second daughter. And then 5 years later after that, I had my son. The children kept me going. The marriage was very hard overall. The marriage just got worse and worse, and it was just tougher and tougher.
The way that they acted towards us, like with love and with care and things like that, they didn't really act that way towards each other. Ever since I was 4 or 5, they had been kind of fighting a lot. I don't think either of them were very happy.
These demons would torment me night and day. The spiritual realm had come after me from every which side. My husband, I'm coming home, I'm getting yelled at. He was so angry. It was a time of absolute hell for me. I was married for 13 years exactly, pretty much exactly.
I was really young when they got divorced, so the farthest back that I can remember is just being in a split custody.
2 years old, my son, my daughter was 7, and then my older daughter was 9.
We'd go back between the houses like very often.
1 week at my dad's or 1 week at my mom's, and then we'll switch occasionally.
We have to pack up all of our stuff, think ahead, make sure like, oh, I'm gonna be at this house on Friday, so I have to make sure to have this.
I mean, it's difficult at some times, but I mean, that's just the way it's been, and that's kind of the way I've gotten used to.
I feel like we have a really strong bond, me, my brother, and sister. My siblings and I were always together. We get each other more than, anybody else would get us. The first couple of years was kind of hard because, both of them were trying to get through it, and at this point, maybe I'd understand that, they're going through something. As a little kid, you don't really understand, like, why maybe they're not as peppy as they usually are, or, if they're going through a particularly hard day, you just don't understand why, you being extra loud that day makes them more annoyed than they usually would.
I'm out in the world. I'm trying not to date or anything, but I'm hurting. I'm really hurting. So I'm like, maybe somebody can heal me. Like I'm thinking outside, right? But that's not the right way to go anyway. So I think with women, what we do is we're hurting inside and we think, we just find the right man. I'll feel better now. But that's not how it works. That pain is still there. I'm still hurting. I haven't healed. I'm trying to navigate this whole new world with my babies, and I lose 3 jobs in a row. I was a consultant. They'd find a way to make me look bad or say something that wasn't even true. But every time they try to get rid of me, God would put me in a higher position. So I went from an analyst to a vice president in 2 years. In that last role, God was doing some intriguing things. I used to have traveled to New York. 6 months prior to me losing that job, a Lyft driver came to my house, an Iranian man who had left Iran and converted to Christianity. So I'm just randomly selecting a Lyft driver. This is who comes to my door. So I think it was the 3rd trip, I'm off to New York again. And he says to me, Jesus is missing from your life. That's the last thing I expected a Lyft driver to tell me, right? Because I didn't know better and it's part of our culture. I would read palms. Like I just had a gift to see things on people's hands. I know you believe in Jesus, but my mom, she's such a kind lady and she believes in God and she's so nice, but I let it go. I just let it go. It was October. I'd just been told that I'd been let go from that job. I was upstairs there in the closet. And I had a conversation with God. I said, I'm done. I said, God, I'm done. I said, I'm tired. I was so just exhausted. I said, what do you want from me? I said, what else do you want from me, God? Is it Jesus? I said, is this what you want from me? That Lyft driver told me of Jesus a few times now, and I kind of put it at the back of my head. And the Lyft driver had said, Jesus is the way, the truth, and life. So this is all I remember about Jesus. Okay, God. If he's the one you want me to find, if this is where I'm going to find peace, if this is the truth, I need to find it. I need to know. I just knew I had to know about this Jesus person. Now I embark on a 6-month journey. My Jesus journey is what I call it. And I start to open the Bible. I didn't even know there was an Old Testament, a New Testament. I was going into the history of stuff. There's evidence about the plagues of Exodus, evidence about the flood. So I'm doing all my scientific research too, and I'm reading the Bible, and things are clicking, and my neurons are like ignited. It was awesome. And remember, I never read any other Bible in my life. I never even touched the Hindu one, the Bhagavad Gita. So this is coming alive for me. Even though I know I'd read palms and astrology, it was just different. It was so different. It was like more pure, if there's a better word to use, right? It was so like in your face pure. And so I got intrigued. I was like, man, who is this Jesus? I remember being right here in the sitting room, and I watched the crucifixion of Christ. I watched the whole story of Jesus' birth and then how he got crucified. I saw the crucifixion for the first time in my life. And I cried and I cried and I cried. I was sobbing. I was in just deep grief. Why did they do this to him, God? Like, why would they hurt him like that? So I couldn't understand the torture and the pain. Like, I just couldn't understand why they'd do that to him. And I think in that moment I fell in love with Jesus. I was like, because I couldn't understand why he would die. I was like, so he died for me? That really got me. So there came a day when the Lyft driver, I hadn't seen him for quite a while. He said, oh, there's a Bible study today. And God said, you gotta go. I felt that and I know it's in your spirit now, but I didn't understand all those words then, right? I just knew like, that's what I had to do. I go to the Bible study, and I walk in this house, and it has little crosses, and I walk in, and I feel a peace, and I was like, what is this? It wasn't what I'd felt before. It was a different energy. They sing and they do something called worship. They read some verse in some Bible. At the end of it, we're all holding hands. That's what you do, apparently. 7 people there, including the Lyft driver. Everybody prays and they say what they want. So people praying for their families or whatever. So it's like, oh, that's nice. And then it comes to my turn. And I'm burning inside. I am burning. Is Jesus the way, the truth, and the life? I had to know the answer. I looked up like that, like to God, and I said, tell me. I yelled it out. I said, tell me. He knew what I needed. As soon as I said that, a force came over me, like a powerful wind, a gust of wind came over me. And luckily there was a sofa behind me, and I fell on the sofa. And I was all this fire or something in me. I have so much energy in me. Immediately I start to speak this new language. I don't even understand what this is. I was as clueless as they come. I don't know what the Holy Spirit was. I didn't know what speaking in tongues was. So all this is happening to me. Even through all that, I sense something behind me. And I put my hand on the sofa like this, on the armrest of the sofa, and I feel something touch my hand. And then I look up like this, and there is Jesus. So I come face to face with the Messiah. Time stood still, and I fell into his eyes. He had so much love in his eyes. I don't know that I really understood love until that point. That was it for me. I was done. I would belong to him. Then I never turned back. From that moment, never went back to the idols. I was sold. And God himself, God of the universe, the God that's spoken to me since I was 4 years old, he answered my petition. He's real. He's the way, he's the truth, and he's the life.
We were confused and it kind of turned to anger.
I was raised Hindu.
Excited as I was, I almost pushed them away. You have to believe in him.
She started going to church. We'd have to go with her. Every time we'd get in the car, there'd be a fight.
I had a confrontation with my daughter. She'd go in front of the idols. I didn't know if my daughter was going to come back or not.
Why are you just being different from our entire family?
God called me on the carpet. Do you trust me with your children?
God is love, and love comes from God. In 1 John, the Bible tells us that God is not only all-loving, but that he actually is love itself. The heart of the Parent Compass television show is to bring the transforming love of God to families everywhere. In every Parent Compass episode, true stories reveal family struggles and how their lives were radically changed by the love of God. Parent Compass, an award-winning television series, is completely funded by people like you. If you have been touched by God and you want to share God's love to others, would you please pass it on? Jesus tells us to go into all the world and to tell about him. With your donation, you allow us to take this television show into many different nations and in
Even
many
though I
different
never told a
languages,
soul,
free of
I
charge.
kept all the paperwork,
And
I kept
a portion
everything.
of your
Because
donation
it's like I'm not
goes to
telling
Parent
anyone, I'm
Compass
just
outreach
keeping
to
stuff.
feed starving
I was
children.
intelligent enough to
Your
know
gift
something was
does so
off,
much.
but I was so
To make your tax-deductible
emotionally
gift, go to
controlled. I have no idea what to say. But I never did anything wrong except give the money. That's it. It was a good amount of money. My ex dragged me to the police station. I gave them the names. We got them arrested and everything.